Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. It is so good to be back. Let me get that lamp. It was shining too much in my eyes. So, hello. Thank you for being so patient with me on Thursday. From what everybody's telling me, they think that I did catch the COVID. I tell you what, I'm very happy that I had gotten my my vaccinations in the spring and the booster in the fall. And the main thing I could say is you just feel tired. And now that I've done everything to get here, I'm tired now. But all in all, it was much easier than the flu. But I was surprised by the extreme fatigue that I felt. I could have slept all day long. And Mark kept saying, well, you should sleep all day long. And I'm a little worried now because he's showing some of the symptoms. But like me, he's all boosted. So hello, everybody. Let me clean my glasses and see who's here. Today might be a little bit quieter of a show, but that's okay. I'm here, and that's the important part. It's so funny. It's so funny because you wake up and you think, oh, I'm feeling better today. And then you start dragging. So, you know, if you have any symptoms like this, just be really gentle with yourself because it's not fun to be sick in any way. And, you know, I haven't made a decision on whether to get tested because I'm not sure. Does it make a difference? But, you know, we'll see. If I think it'll make a difference or it'll be a good thing to know. But I think now that pretty much everybody knows at some point, or if you haven't had it, you will get it. And, but the good news I heard today was that about 70% of people in the country are now immune to it. So let's hope that's true because I don't want to get it again. But after just mainly fatigue, a little bit of a scratchy throat here and there, some headaches, loss of appetite, little sore tummy. So the funniest thing was, I hope Patricia stops by or hears this, because she told me her symptoms in January, and oh my gosh. And then when I started getting them, I thought, aha. But, and thank you to Charlene Lawson, who told me, who confided in me, who told me her symptoms. So at least hopefully I've had it. We can move on now and we should do good. So yeah, I guess it would be good to know. It means getting in the car. This is truly first world problems. Getting in the car and going down to CVS and waiting in line. But you know what? I can probably do that. I did notice there is a little shortness of breath that lingers on. So it probably would be good to know. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mitty and Laura, for, you know, because you know what? I was thinking about us. This group, when I started doing this 4 years ago, we had no idea about any COVID or what was going to happen. Hi, Cheryl. You're never late here. This is one place that I would like for us to feel like we never have to say we're sorry. We accept you and we love you for who you are. And you're never late here. Every time we see you, we're happy. So you're just on time. So anyway, but I'm running a little behind in things I had wanted to do today, but in other ways, I've got some fun things to show you. So you know what we do? We do the best we can. And guess what? That's going to be good enough. Looks like I might have a little too much up here. I tell you, it's a little harder after you've been sick for the week. So, and I'll tell you one thing. If your tummy's not sure, if your tummy's a little sore and you're kind of feeling a little strange, do not eat popcorn. just let's leave it at that. It'll be a while before I have popcorn. So that's not fun. I've got a few exciting things for you today. Oh, I forgot to. I gave Mark back his extension cord. Oh, pooh. I don't have my cute little lights plugged in, but at least they're hanging there. But this week, I just wanted to show one last time, and I do have a pattern for this, and it has been downloaded. I can shoot it to you by email. So, Michelle Lang, hi, sweetheart. Yes, I'm slowly feeling better. And, it wasn't, honestly, if I have to be sick, if you have to be sick, that's a pretty good sickness to have. Our time, hold on to quilt. I want to put this email on here because if you would like to get any of my patterns, it's been so exciting this week. I've had people ask for patterns way back from the way back years. So one of the things I did while I was sick is went through my emails and my patterns and tried to get them a little organized. When you're so busy doing 2 shows a week, sometimes the little organizational stuff gets thrown by the wayside. So I said, it's really important for me to keep really good records. And if somebody asks for a pattern from a year ago, I want to be able to put my hands on it and get it to them. So that's funny. Is that Omicron? If I had the COVID, which it looks like this week, then it would have been the Omicron. So, but I'll tell you what, if you are fully vaccinated and boosted, I don't think you have to fear it. You just go, okay, this week I'm not going to be very productive. It's okay. So anyway, all right. So I just wanted to show that because I've got the pattern still. This I managed to work on this week. I got my painted, this was the one I did in December. I got it quilted, and it quilted very easily. I did it on my domestic, and it was very easy to quilt through the paint. So that's pretty cool. Now, when I did the stitching of this, I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. When I did the stitching of this, thank you for whoever it was said, get the sewing machine needles that will go through fusible. Because I totally forgot. I started zigzagging this and breaking the thread every few inches. And I went, pardon me, I got excited. I went, oh, I've got a needle that solves that problem. Oh, I tell you. I just thought, you get to the point where just sitting there doesn't work. If anything, for me, just sitting there helps me focus the fact that I just don't feel that good. But you didn't quilt your mandala. Oh, it's nice. It was nice for me to have, because you quilt the design before you paint it. And then I thought, let's get it quilted, and then I'm going to get it bound. And it was very easy to do on the domestic. I quilted right over the paint, because only the background, because I had already done the inside. And so now it's done. It only took me 15 minutes. Not bad. All right. So then I remember, before I choked, I remembered that I had the needles, because one of you kind ladies recommended them. And so then when I put it on, I only broke the thread maybe once or twice more the whole rest of the thing. And they're a funny looking needle. They look dark, like an unshiny gunmetal dark gray. But boy, do they work. So here is this. And I had a couple of these little shapes that were from here, from this cutout. I added them because I thought they looked cute. There's another one down here. Then I had all these little tiny hearts that I cut out of the scraps between that quilt and this. Olive, pardon me now, I have hiccups. I'm a mess. But I had the fusible on the back, so I cut out all these hearts and I added them to this. I didn't like them on that one, but I think they're wonderful on this one. So, and then I took the plain pink flowers. I did a little thread sketching on them and just took and did a zigzag in the middle. So I think they're just cute. And this is just going to be a little pillow, a fun little thing. So I didn't take time to be just perfect. I did it for joy. I think I've told you this before. I had two friends back when I was first married, and we went to the church sewing guild, and one of them just tried to be so perfect. She cut out her pattern just perfectly. She tried to make her little girls' dresses just perfectly. The other one was a very busy mom of several kids, and she did more slap it together. And she told me, Deb, these kids are only going to wear this for a short period of time. They'll grow out of it. They'll get it stained or whatever. What she did is, like, she had a daughter named Erin. She cut out an applique elephant and put it on Erin's little dress. And I thought, I love that. That joy. And she was right. You don't really save much in the way of, good question, Middleton. You don't really save that many of their clothes. And the things that we would have used 40 years ago are not the same clothes people wear now. So I learned from that. The needles were a common brand. What are the common brand? If anyone can look it up. Hi, Laura Leitner. If anyone can look up what are the common brands of sewing machine needles that I tend to use are Smets. I'm pretty sure it was a Smets, and they were a needle to use with fusibles. So I'm sorry I don't have that, but you can look it up and say a needle to sew on fusibles. And it makes a big difference. So they were about $6 for 4 or 5 of them. 5, I think. But it was worth it. So, and you don't use it that terribly often. So, but I love that I did the little thread painting. While I had the red thread out, I did. And this is just, when I look at stuff like this, I don't get worked up. I look at it as playing. And yeah, one of the kids, when I'm no longer here, one of the kids will probably get it and they'll use it in their house. But I don't get spooled up about things like that, because there are plenty of heirloom quilts that I need to finish. And if I turn everything into such a perfectionist kind of mentality, I won't end up getting things done. That's another story I've shared with y'all about the woman who was such a perfectionist, so much so that she walked up and took one of the things I was working on and undid it because she said it wasn't good enough. Well, I know now I should have knocked her down, or at least said, excuse me, that is very rude. And, but I ended up noticing I was as intimidated. Oh, thank you, honey. Marsha, you're so sweet. I was as intimidated by her as everyone else was. But then I noticed after about a year, she never showed anything at show and tell. So that told me she was so particular. Vinyl needles, super non-stick. Okay, thanks, Debbie. She never showed anything herself. So what was she getting done? And I thought, you know what? Finished is better than perfect. So please say it to yourself. Say it out loud and proud. And every time you start a project, go, finish is better than perfect. Because that's true. Anybody that spends time looking at your project to see if it's perfect is not your friend. So show them the door. And you just have fun. It's about having fun. And so many of all of you are my age, and we're done raising our kids, and now is the time for us to enjoy ourselves. And so let's have a good time. Now let me see who's here real quick before I do anything more. Sonia, hi, sweetheart. Marsha, Mitty, so good seeing Mitty. Laura, hi, sweetie. I'll be very careful today, don't worry. And and Cheryl Hogan, Michelle. Oh, I love my Michelle. And I'm so glad you love this group, Mitty. You're such a cutie. And my Marsha, Debbie, there's Charlene Lawson. Thank you for reaching out. Several of you have reached out to me this week, and it means so much. Thank you. Okay, Cass is here. Hi, sweetie. And I love our Debbie. And Laura Leitner, it is so good to see you. I'm trying to think if we saw you last time too. Very good. And especially if I've mentioned your name twice, if you send me an email to OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com, I will send you an invitation to our group's IO. And that's just a free group, kind of like the old Yahoo groups. And we get together, we can chat, put photos, ask questions, just kind of continue what we do on Sunday anytime you want during the week. So, all right, did I miss anybody? I said hi to my sweet Sonia. Oh, she was the one with the needle name. I should have known that. She's a fast one. And don't get me started on her beautiful machine. I've got a crush on Sonia's sewing machine. I know that sounds silly, but I love her machine. So if I'd felt better yesterday, I would have tried to get to our Jitsi. That's another thing is we have twice a month, we have a little sit and sew on a Jitsi where you don't have to type. You can just talk. And so that's fun. So let's see. Oh, hello, Rose. It's so good to see all of you. So now I have done the zigzag stitching on this. What I'm going to do next is I am going to probably take this darker red and do a border around this. And this is 10 inches. So I'm going to make the border probably about 3 inches for this. And then I'm going to take this lighter, inexpensive red that I don't really like, and I'm going to make the back. And I was trying to think, do I do a back for the pillow where you can get the stuffing out in case you want to wash it? And I thought, nah, I'm going to make it so the whole thing can go in the wash. It's all right. So I'm just going to then cut the simple back and just do a knife edge, sewing it together. And I'll probably use scraps of stuffing from the quilting that I've done, turn this into a cute little throw pillow that I bring out for Valentine's Day, and then put back for the rest of the year. So I also, let me see if I can give you, I want to give you the shortcut on how to get these patterns, because it's actually two. If you really love it, there's a bigger one and then there's a smaller one. So let me bring up this. I tell you what, I'm amazed at what computers can do. All right, now cross your fingers. I think this will work. All right, hold on. Let me see. Paste. Is that paste? All right. I did it. So now if you hit that link, then it takes you right to the Janome page where it's a free pattern and you can download and enjoy that pattern all on your own. So I'm doing pretty good. When I don't have the amazing Susan I kind of have to do the best I can, you know? Or Carol. Oh my gosh, Carol is another whiz on the computer. So I'll have to go back and watch. I have to go back and watch her show. So what I've been doing this week while I've been trying to feel better is doing things I can do sitting down and relaxing. Believe it or not, I had a little fan on, but it started getting a little cold. All right. So I'm not sure if I had 2 or 3 of these done last week, but I'm enjoying these. It's fun trying to find something different to do because I want to give them all a different look. Let me make sure. Oops. Come on. Oh, hopefully. Okay. This is, let me type this down in case anyone doesn't know. This is an Alex Anderson hand. Hi, Sarah. Hand embroidery sew along, and you can find, I hope I spelled it right. Oh, no, I don't think I did. And you can find her on YouTube, and she has done over 20 shows where she shows a different kind of thing per week. And so here is my newest. This one's very different, and I'm a little worried at the light color of this row right here. So everything else stands out pretty good, but I might go back and do a gray instead of the white. But anyway, I'm getting there. Oh, thank you, Miss Sarah. I hope those babies are doing good. So I've got a few more circles to do, but you know what? This is a project to relax with, so I'm not going to get all worked up over that. Now, I did this. I worked on this Friday when I was feeling good enough to sit up. And what I did is, remember, this is another thing I designed. And after seeing a beautiful, no, I did not use, I used, instead of using silk dupioni, this is polyester dupioni. And because, I'm sorry, silk is out of my price range. And I just ended up using my own fusible interfacing like you would use to make clothes. In fact, I've gone through a bolt of that in the last year, so I need to buy some more. So, oh, there you go, Charlene. Okay. Charlene said where this part is not that white area is not showing up, weave another color in it. So thank you. That's so much better than taking it out and starting again, because right now I've got white and peach in it. Let me pull it off again real quickly here. And so I've got white and peach, and I hated to, do that over again. Come on. Okay, there we go. I've got white and peach. And what I did is I did just a regular running stitch, and I wrapped the peach thread around it, and then I did the little, what do you call that, like a lazy daisy stitch above that. So she said, go in with a different color and weave it so that it'll show up. So I will take probably some of the gray and weave it through there. That's a great idea, because in other places, like right here, see how I wove the blue in and out of the white ziggy-zaggy? So I've done that before. I'll do that again. Thank you, Charlene, for saving me time and energy, because that's time that I can work on yet another circle. And thank you. Y'all are sending in some great photos that I'll share with y'all during our show and tell in a few minutes. So I'm embroidering into a fusible, absolutely. And it's not a big deal. It acts like one fabric, and since I'm doing it by hand needle, it's not a real problem. So, oh, thank you. You know, I have been looking online, and when we do our show and tell, I'll show you some great photos I've found that give me stitches. You can buy the book, but I've had enough expenses lately. We had the second car fixed, so I'm not buying any book right now. But between watching Alex Anderson, looking online, and just go to your search engine, Google or whatever, and type in hand embroidery stitches. People are so generous and sharing. You can find all kinds of videos, YouTube, blogs that people lovingly share what they know. So right now, I'm real happy with people. Let me tell you, I don't know about any of y'all, but we watched the Russian skater. It was quite an emotional ordeal. And you know, when I first heard about doping, I was angry. You're taking this child and giving her different kinds of medications for her heart that she doesn't have a problem with. And that's the problem to me with Olympics. It's part of what's kind of soured me on it. But you know what? Russia was already banned from using their name during the ceremony because of doping. And to have doped her for the Olympics, they immediately should have said, I'm sorry. And I would have kicked the whole Russian team out. But what I ended up seeing is the sin of this was visited on that 15-year-old little girl. And Mark said, well, 15 shouldn't, while we were still kind of processing this, he said, well, wouldn't she know that she was, I said, number one, they are, especially in Russia, they belong to the state. You are told what to do, how to do it, how long to do it, how high to do it, everything. Even if she had known, she wouldn't have been able to say, no, I'm not doing that. We have to understand that kind of pressure in that country. People disappear often. So that poor little girl probably didn't know, and if she did, she couldn't do anything about it. She has been brainwashed since, they start them when they're just a couple of years old. So when I had I read about her performance before she actually performed. And I changed my thinking because at first I was like angry. And who are you angry with? Well, that skater was dope. But then I watched her out there on the ice and I watched her fall apart. It broke my heart. The mother in me, it broke my heart. I said, she's a little girl. She's a child. The thing that made me the angriest is it was adults who made all the decisions with her. But guess who pays the price? She does. So I changed my mind a lot about all of that when I watched the anxiety and the emotions when the performance actually happened, when I saw the other Russian girl who did not want to get on the podium. It was an awful experience, and one that we have to kind of put our foot down and say, we're not going to treat children like this. Children are precious and they shouldn't be abused. And she's an abused child. That's all there is to it. Unfortunately, it's the state doing it. So I didn't mean to get into all of that, but I tell you, the reason I started to tell you this was for good reason. When I heard the sports announcer say, I hope someone will just put their arms around her in a hug and guide her, and his voice was cracking, I was like, I lost it. I was boo-hooing. And when I saw how everybody tried to rally around her, when her own teammates, one of her teammates shoved away the coach who was so brutal to her, I said, you know what? People are good. Sometimes organizations make bad choices, but people were so good about that. But anyway, my heart, oh, it just, and the girl who got third place was so happy. And I thought, okay, so, I think some changes need to be done. But it just renewed my faith in human beings. And whether anything will happen with that country, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I think enough people from all over the world are now very awake to what's going on, and we've got to stop abusing these babies, and because they have a whole life to live, and just a medal is not worth that, not worth it at all. So here is my latest painting project, which I can't wait to start. So last week, I had drawn on the feather fronds on, oh, thank you, right, thank you. But so everybody got to they didn't get their medals, I think, then, but they got to be on a podium, thank goodness. I think that was a wrong call all around. So, and here is my latest pattern, and I saw a picture of this on Pinterest, and I said, I want to do that, and I decided to do a big one. I have made this pattern. All I did is I went into my Q, what's it called? My quilting program, electrical EQ8. I had a lovely lady ask, what is that? And it was like my quilting software program. And I was able to bring up a Dahlia quilt. And so basically I decided how big I wanted it to be and had to remove lines. And that it was that easy to bring this up. So when we're done with this show tonight, I already asked Mark if he would help me get this loaded onto my computer, and that way I'll send you, anybody that wants this pattern, I'll send it to you. And I also have an image of the feathers, so if you have a window or light box, you can then draw it out. And believe it or not, Friday, and it helped me. I was warm and I was sitting there, so I wasn't, using too much energy. But I quilted this puppy. So here is the back just to show you how it's been quilted. And the black threads that come through, I have the scissor cutter, and it tries to do a little knot. So I usually have to go back and take that off. But anyway, here it is. And if you can see, I spent all yesterday taking out extra threads and trying to fix things. And thank goodness Susan told me, do it on the long arm. And it's hard for me to follow lines and follow them perfectly. And let me show you a couple things, what I mean. So I didn't always follow the lines. Some of the drawn lines, because I had drawn them with permanent pen, because I didn't want it to go anywhere. So some of the lines, I tried to make sure the sewing encapsulated all the lines. But if a permanent line shows was outside of where I quilted it, I'm just going to take a little touch of white paint and touch it up, because I'm not going to worry about this. This is for my soul. I'm doing this for fun. And so I went and took off a lot of extra threads. Now, if your eyes are really sharp, you might see, and I need to shake this too, because it had a lot of little threads still stuck to it. But if your eyes are sharper than mine because, oh, here it is. I had one safety pin beside me on the couch. And what I do is right here, there's no thread. Right? There's no thread about this inch. Okay? Because I had to pull it out. So what I'll do is I'll put a safety pin there. Then I also, this edge was a little floppy, so I just hand basted it with some unthreaded needle that was beside my chair. And I'm going to end up doing, I did a little here too. Anywhere, this side still has the tacks from having it on the quilt frame. And then I only had one safety pin, and I had more areas where I knew, okay, I'll take out the threads now, and then I'll sit down at my machine and I'll fill in the areas where it's missing it. So how am I going to mark them? I only had one safety pin. So what I did is I had the pearl cotton from doing the Alex Anderson quilt. Whoops, that way. And so what I did is I just did a loop, sewed a little loop of the pearl cotton thread, like right there. And that says, oh, pay attention here. You need to go back and fill in the thread. So I just kind of thought I would show you. That's how I kind of work. And once I fill in those last couple threads, I think I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and wash it. And you might think, oh, I don't know if I'd do that. In fact, I might go ahead and just stitch around the outside on the machine. But I think I might gently wash it in the sink to get rid of marks and chalk and stuff like that, so that when I work, I'm not distracted. But anyway, but now, once I do those 4 repairs, and then I wash it and I dry it, I'll do it, probably wash it in my laundry sink, and then carefully squeeze it, and then gently lay it on a towel to dry. And then once it's dry, I get to start painting it. And some of y'all have asked, what paints do I use? So I'll show you. Right now, I'm really enamored with these metallic paints. I love the look of that quilt. So let me show you what I've got. So here is the box of paints. I got them off of Amazon, and it's, oops, let me get my glasses on. Shuttle Art, 20 acrylic paint metallic colors. Okay, metallic finish, quick drying, fade resistant, non-toxic. So, and here are the colors, and they are a lovely, lovely metallic. Let me show, whoops. Well, let me open one that I've opened. Who knows which ones I've opened? Oh, well, I'm sure there's one I've opened. I had a heart, here we go. So you can see the seal is still there, but I've kind of lifted up part of the edge, but I'm leaving the seal to keep them preserved as much as possible. But you can see how they have a slight metallic glow. Not like a big dumb glitter thing, you know. But anyway, so I've got all these colors. Now these I put in for the last project, but I don't really need them for this one, I don't think. Well, who knows? You know, I don't think they have a good yellow. Then what I have, to make them work on fabric, I have 2 different kinds of textile medium. Textile medium or fabric paint medium. Hi, Patty. I sat out in the sun this week, Patty. Hi, Barbara Smith. Oh, and Mary. I don't know if I mentioned Mary. I'm so always happy to see our Mary. So, textile medium. I got 2 different kinds. There's all different kinds. Lisa Capon liked the Deco Art fabric medium the best. But what you do is you mix them about 50-50 with textile medium and the paint. And then you paint it on. It dries pretty quickly. And then when you're all done painting it, then you take it and put a cover cloth on it and you press it. And I say a cover cloth because you don't want to, you have to make sure the paint's really dry, but you don't want to take a chance on burning paint or melting paint on your iron. So, but I have got to custom mix because I think I'm doing a big rainbow and 3 of each of the rainbow colors. So I'll be doing custom mixes. And I've got these little plastic cups so I can mix it in a little cup and I'll have it, and it has a lid, and I'll have it. So I'll show you that next week. But I'm so tickled that I got this done. Doing the quilting on this probably took me 4 hours. So it's not a quick and easy, but very worth it. And if you don't have a long arm, you can still do it. I'm not good at quilting on a domestic because I've been doing long arming for 8 years, but it is quite doable. You know, you just have to drop your feed dogs and get your gloves on and try to keep it smooth. What does the Textile Medium do? The Textile Medium allows the fabric to penetrate the fibers. If you didn't use the Textile Medium, the paint would sit on top. When the paint sits on top, it can peel off, chip off, whatever. It doesn't become part of the fabric. And what you're doing with this is the Textile Medium helps open up the fibers in the cotton and helps the paint absorb into the fibers better. And then by heat setting it, you permanently set the colors. So I'm hoping that that might help. But that way you can turn just about any paint into fabric paint. But you got to have a medium that will bridge the gap between paint and fabric. Because, you know, you can paint on cardboard. That's not a problem. It doesn't have to soak in. But with fabric, and fabric's movable and stretchable and all of that, if you didn't use a fabric medium, when you pulled or stretched the fabric, the paint could just chip right off. So I hope that helps you. Now, here is something I'm very excited. I'm very excited. And did anyone ask anything that okay, so I got so excited when I was looking. Let me hang this back up. When I was looking for this, I knew it was based on a Dahlia pattern. So I thought, ooh, I've never made a Dahlia quilt, but I've been one I've thought about over the years. And so while I was looking up this Dahlia, the Dahlia pattern, I thought I really would like to do one. So I started looking for Dahlia patterns because I thought it's a little complicated for me just to wing it, you know. And at the time, I didn't know I'd be able to find a Dahlia pattern on EQ, Electric Quilt 8, as well as I did. I couldn't find new Dahlia patterns easily, but I found an original 1988 Country Quilt Creations. And I found an Etsy seller who had a few of these left. And it's so cute. It has an actual photograph glued onto the front. Shows how far we've come. But isn't that neat? So I'm so excited. It was $15, which, you know, is very reasonable considering I'm sure it's out of print. And also, I just wanted to show you, this is so fascinating. So it's got the typing here, instructions. Then it has, and it doesn't just have templates for one size. It has templates for 3 different sizes of finished quilts. So do you see this? So if you look on Etsy for Dahlia, she might have a couple of these left. Now, This is so neat. It was like walking back in time. Look at how this is printed out. And you know what? To do this was hard work. But isn't that cute? I love this. This was in the early stages of complex quilt pattern making. So I'm thrilled with it. And some of those long arcs are in here. And I'm going to be looking at different pictures of different kind of Dahlia quilts and deciding how I'm going to make it. So when I do show and tell, I will show you some ideas that I have. And I don't even know what fabrics I'm going to know. I've learned with quilting, if you see a fabric or a pattern that you really love, get it, because you might not find it the next time. And you know that I'm very careful. I'm sitting here talking to y'all. Now this is, you know how I'm kind of a squirrel. I'm easily distracted. So I'm sitting here talking to y'all, and I picked up some scissors to cut the dead tips off my peace lily. I tell you what are you going to do with me? So anyway, but just to tell you that if it's something really special, then get it. You won't find it again. That pattern, it's a 1988 pattern. Where would I find it again? So there, I've done it. It's not paper pieced, it is template. So you cut out the templates and cut out each piece of the fabric. Now, you know what I would do? Think about this. Let's say you have this, in fact, since I didn't get to put it away, let's say you have this pattern and you know it's special, okay? If they were a dime a dozen, then go ahead and cut out the pattern pieces and use it. But this, look at this. I think instead of cutting out the pattern pieces, what I'm probably going to do is I've got enough brown paper that I will make a copy of the pattern piece. And for these pattern pieces, I'm going to try to either, if they're too big, I'll make them a copy. If they're small enough, I will print my own copy. Or lay these on template material, although I don't think I'm going to make it that many times that it's worth wasting template plastic. But anyway, but just know if it's a special pattern, you might want to make copies of the templates instead of cutting them out. Once you start cutting out templates, the likelihood of losing them goes up greatly. So, but it's all template piecing. So you cut the fabric out, it has a built-in seam allowance, and then you just put it in place and line them up. All righty. I think now, let me see, I showed you my Valentine pillow I'm going to make, the heart, the painted December project, my swirly feathers, and I'll have that pattern. So if you want it, I will send it to you by email real easily. All right. So now what I think I'm going to do is let's do show and tell. When I come back from show and tell, I'm going to show you the easy ways of doing curved piecing. Okay? So let's go look at your photos, and then we'll come back and I'll do a tutorial on curved piecing. Let me close this window because the sun's a little bright. I don't think you'll be able to see. Let's see. Hopefully that. Whew. That's a bright sun. All right. Here we go. I can feel that my energy level is not what I wish it was, and I apologize again, but I'm just glad to be here with you guys. All right. Let me turn off this lamp. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right, go up to photos. All right, let me get my glasses on so I can see. Miss Alexis, I have been so tickled to see her working again. Look at this cutie pie. This is Hoist, and I just love it. I love all the different kinds of beads and decorative items she puts on. Can't wait to see him because he's a work in progress, so that will be a lot of fun. I love these little bugle beads that she kind of put at angles. So way to go, Miss Alexis Hahn. All right, now who is going to be next? Miss B. You know Miss B started this COVID by making cards because she couldn't get out to the store during the lockdown. So she made cards for people, and now she has come to love it. And I know they love getting one of her treasures. I mean, this is a piece of art. And she just made this one for a friend of hers who just had her 80th birthday. Is that beautiful? And she said that this stitch here is one of the stitches on her new sewing machine. So I'm so tickled she has that new machine. But isn't that beautiful? And it looks like she made these gorgeous ribbon flowers. They look like camellia blossoms to me. But in saying this, because I admire Miss B's work so much, she does phenomenal landscapes. And in admiring this work, she let it slip out that she had this 80 from her 80th birthday card a couple of years ago. I went, what? So I am shocked. You ladies surprise me all of the time. You create like spring chickens, and I couldn't be more proud of you. So way to go, Miss B. All right, let's see. Miss Betty, but it gives me inspiration. The best is yet to come, and our creativity just will keep building year after year. Look at this, beautiful. Betty, you did a wonderful job. And she's got all kinds of different stitching on this. She has quilted it. It's just beautiful, Betty. And look at the applique thread roses here. And I'll show you in a moment because she's a multimedia artist like we all are becoming. Now here is her Alex Anderson hand embroidery. Just exquisite. And I love how she does some things in between. Not everything has to be in the circles. And oh my gosh, some of the ways she did the thread wrapping is amazing. Look how she added paint. And I love these metallic paints. She added paint to that wonderful big block. So, and I'm going to go back just to show you real quick. This is the actual work where she added painting and paint here and thread stitches and just amazing things. I love it. Way to go, Miss Patty. Please send your photos to me. It doesn't have to be something you're currently working on. If you haven't shared it before, please do, because we become so inspired. You help all of us extend our creativity. Isn't this wonderful? This is Miss Carol. She has the Magical Touch YouTube channel. I highly recommend it. She makes her own lace. Look at this beautiful metallic paints and thread work. And here is her Alex Anderson. Isn't that just beautiful? Way to go, Miss Carol. Look at this. Look at this. So very talented. All the different little, looks like the birds. Looks like maybe they're little birds or butterflies. I mean, she's so talented. Look at the little roses. So she has a YouTube channel, and she's been doing Saturday shows. Here's an example. Here she has sketched and painted a tree. Now watch how she fills it out using her embroidery threads. Watch what she does. She turns it into a real tree. And I found, you'll have to watch her show to find out, how does she put the snow like it's sticking on. And little snow here. Just remember, it's multimedia, and that's how she does it. Paint. All right, we'll go back. Charlene. Charlene has been busy. And this Miss Charlene Lawson. And look at this wonderful work that she's doing on her Alex Anderson. And see, Alex is doing all of this for the sheer joy. She does it as a representative of the quilt show. So look at this wonderful quilt Charlene finished, and it should be at the Long Arm Quilters. Then look at her Alex Anderson hand embroidery quilt along. I love it. Here, and I keep forgetting to find out what, this must be a sew along, and I keep forgetting to ask which one is it. But they're all, I can see, I recognize now the flowers and the berries, and it's beautiful. And now look at this. She's got it all pieced together. That is beautiful. Way to go. Way to go. So, a lot of very, very talented people in this group. I got some great pictures from Miss Charlene Piper, and I'm so excited. Look at this. Wonderful landscape work, hon. Look at this wolf howling at the moon. Isn't that beautiful? I would love to know just exactly how she did all the shading and coloring on that. Beautiful. Another wonderful landscape, Charlene Piper. Beautiful. Oh, look at this with the birds flying overhead. It's just so much fun. I cannot tell you how uplifting it is to do landscapes. Now look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Look at this stained glass. It's fabric, but it sure does look like stained glass. And I love this bird quilt, an attic window bird quilt, using a panel. Beautiful. Another, and quick and easy landscape, but how effective is that? That's wonderful. And she loves making her grandchildren's clothes. Look at this precious little bee costume on her granddaughter. How cute. So thank you, Charlene Piper. More excellent work. And now I'll come back to mine because I have a couple other things to show you. Here's Miss Debbie's beautiful work. I love this Baltimore album quilt. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Very, very, I love the applique work, and then where she did the thread work with the little tendrils. Here is her red work Christmas quilt. So cute. I love these sparkly stars. Ah, just wonderful. I have yet to do a 2-color quilt, but I really want to. Look at that. And I love the way that she quilted that. Very effective. And then her Christmas block of the week. Thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing those with us. And if you would like to share some pictures of your work, just send me an email. Send them to OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com. Okay, this is Diana Wrights. I'm so tickled. I want her to send some more. But she's a professional quilter. And oh my gosh, she does the most gorgeous quilting you've ever seen. And she's down in Texas. And if you want a long arm quilter, look for the Copacetic Quilter. Diana Wright, because she is amazing. Look at her quilting. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? She can do contest quality quilting any day of the week. Okay. Dolores. Oh, I love Dolores's work. I hope she's feeling better. She broke her knee a couple months ago, and it is a long, tedious process. But isn't that beautiful? I would love to know how she did that bubble. Just beautiful. Here is an eagle that she has been working on. Her dear hubby took and set up the living room with everything to keep her mind and soul active and happy. Look at this one. I love the shallots and the garlic and the mushrooms. Isn't that wonderful? And the thread painting really brings it to life. Here is her wonderful chameleon. I do believe it's all finished now, and she's got numerous kinds of thread painting. I love how her leaves really do look like they're shining. And isn't he handsome? Just handsome. Beautiful. Thank you, Miss Dolores. And we do love, this is something different. That was the heart pattern, which, pardon me a second, I'm now trying to keep all my patterns nice and organized. So let me put that down here. There we go. All right. Now we'll go to Miss Jeannie. Miss Jeannie's been busy. I'm so happy. She's really hurt her back, and I think she's now starting to get back to her projects and finish them. So I love this. I assume these are family names that she's done like a Scrabble board. How creative. And look at this beautiful work. Isn't this wonderful? And what she did is a form of broderie purse, which means cutting out the fabric design and creating a secondary design with it. And I love how she's padded the vase to give it a three-dimensional look. Way to go, Miss Jeannie. Wonderful. And she's done some thread painting in here to really delineate the lines of the roses. Wonderful. All right. Who is next? Miss Jody. And Miss Jody had some very interesting weather this week. She had just a wee bit of rain. Oh, my gosh. That would be just a little scary. You've got to wonder, are you flooded in? I think that's supposed to be a driveway. It looks like a lake to me. So hopefully, Miss Jody, she has had some wild weather this year. She had a tree fall and take power out a couple weeks ago, and then she had flooding. Oh, that will leave a mark on the driveway. Oh, goodness. Then here is some of her beautiful work she's doing. That same wonderful flower and vase pattern and the Alex Anderson hand embroidery. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And there we go. Just wonderful work, Miss Jody. Just wonderful. Thank you, hon. All right. And please stay safe and dry. Kathy Boyd, has she been busy? And you know that she was doing the wonderful Lisa Capon painted quilt, right? She was working on that. And then, let me go to this. She was doing this quilt along. But what I wanted to show you is her daughter started doing some of this with her. And what I love about this, her daughter's measurements were slightly different than hers, but she's going to make this work because this is a wonderful testament to her and her daughter working on this together. So it doesn't matter if every line matches up. What matters is that two people worked on something together and made a treasure. So way to go, Miss Kathy Boyd. Way to go. Can't wait to see that fully put together. All right. Here, oh, this one just thrilled my heart. You know that I did the Merry Mayhem mystery quilt, the New Year's Day mystery quilt. I haven't quite finished with mine. I'm working on my borders. But Kim and some of her friends did their own. This one is Kim's quilt in progress. Then this is Pam's quilt in progress. Love those purples, especially since they look like Delectable Mountains, Purple Mountains Majesty. Then this one is a Great Friends quilt. She's remaining anonymous because she might gift it. So, and then this is Gay's quilt. And isn't that amazing? I love the way she came up with her own way of sorting the blocks. So that is so striking. So way to go, Gay. Kim, Gay, Pam, and one more friend did a wonderful job with that free pattern. Wonderful. Okay. Let's see. So don't forget, next Christmas or New Year's, merrymayhem.com, merrymayhem.com. Merry Mayhem does a free mystery quilt. They're a lot of fun. All right. That was for Miss Linda. Now, let's see what Mary has been doing. This I wanted to show you. I know you've seen it before, but she came back and added three-dimensional flowers to the inner border on that quilt. And I think that her quilting of the piano key border was the best I've seen. What motion and joy she gave it. Then here is one of her sunsets. And she lives almost off the grid. And I just love her countryside. So pretty. So isn't this lovely to look at? As far as the eye can see. No wonder she's so happy. It's beautiful there. And then she did the quilt that I've offered free pattern for, and I love it. I think she did a wonderful job too. Beautiful. Then here is her farmer's wife, 190 block quilt, something I will never manage. Then she finished, quilted, totally finished the Christmas block of the week that we did here. And I still have all of these patterns if you want them. Here is another beautiful scene when she had a snowfall. Isn't that just lovely? Just lovely. And there again is the full farmer's wife quilt. Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Miss Mary. And Melanie. Oh, Melanie showed some cute little spring quilts she's been working on. And this will make you excited about spring, won't it? And look at this cutie pie butterfly. And I love these. And you know what? They're not the big complicated quilts, but they make people smile. And that's just what I'm really enjoying nowadays. And here is Michelle's wonderful grandson and his puppy. And this is a quilt she made about 10 years ago, and it is gorgeous. But look at that baby. Isn't that sweet? Both babies are sweet as they can be. Isn't that cute? So that's why Michelle left me to go back home. She had to get back to those babies, and I don't blame her a bit. Okay, let me put this down in here since I'm keeping things organized. Oh, and Pat Fry, I owe you a pattern. I promise I will do it. I haven't, when you have the virus I had, you don't feel very creative. Oh boy, I don't think I'm getting a very clear picture. Let me check back with you. Hold on a second, people. Yeah, that is not a clear picture. All right, let me go back and see. I'm hoping I'm still online. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to that photo. And I don't know why it is not clear, but let's see. I hope my camera's not kind of deciding if it's going to break or not, but there we go. Okay, we got it. This is Miss Patricia from Nova Scotia. She got some new furniture from IKEA. She's trying to get all of her she has a serger and a sewing machine, and she's trying to set them up, and she's trying to get her space even more productive. So I love it. Way to go. She's making good use of every inch of that room. Way to go, Miss Patricia. I love it when, in fact, I wanted to talk to you all about that too, about getting our rooms. It's a nice time of year to undertake some room work. Miss Polly took a wonderful class. We'll tell you more about that soon. But look at this amazing stuff she's doing. I love taking the floss and doing a weaving. How cool is that? So many quilters are becoming so creative, thinking outside the box, and I love it. Polly, this is wonderful. Just wonderful, dear heart. Look at this. Isn't that great? So she is doing a wonderful job, and we'll tell you more about this very soon. But isn't that lovely? And I love the different hand stitches, the machine work, the beading. I mean, what fun is that? She's got little bits and stuff here, there, and everywhere. I love it. Creating is so good for a person. I cannot tell you. If you're having a rough patch, think of just getting something out and trying one more time. Trying to see if you can create, and I bet you'll feel better. So here I just wanted to show you how I looked around and I went through all the Alex Anderson photos and grabbed a few to give me some ideas. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Then I looked at the cover of this book. Look at this. There's so many different ways that this is one of the current Alex Anderson, and I really was impressed with this person's work. Beautiful. So I just wanted to share with you that out there in the world, there are plenty of good examples of hand embroidery, and you can take and borrow their ideas. Isn't that wonderful? All right. So now let's go back and let me see. Oh, sometimes I save things because it looks so fascinating. I've been watching a show, and look at this. This is a spiral staircase in an old Art Deco building. It reminds me of a nautilus shell, but wouldn't that be a cool inspiration for a quilt? So when I see something like that, I snap a picture of it and I save it. Mark did all kinds of shots of the railings and everything for me so that I might be able to come up with a great quilt idea from that. Okay, so now I was looking on the Quilt Show newsletter, and look at this quilt from the recent Houston show. It's got hand embroidery on it. And over here is some hand crocheted lace with beads. Is that sweet? So It's everywhere. I tell you, this has been the year of embellishing. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? That is absolutely beautiful. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is the inspiration photo for the Dahlia quilt that I'm working on. That's what I saw online. I couldn't find a pattern. I thought I have to be able to figure this out because I want one of those. So that's what I'm getting ready to work on. I'm doing some different things to change it up a little bit. Right before I started feeling badly, I wanted to show you. I made a huge pot of chili, a huge pot of seafood chowder, some extra Now, if I make tacos, I make twice as much and freeze half. Or sandwich, just about anything. I've got my upstairs freezer full of convenient food ideas. That allows me more time to quilt, trust me. Because I had a hard time downsizing from being a mom. Now, I wanted to show you this. I saw this in a online catalog, and these are panels you can buy, and there's nothing wrong with these, but this has everything pre-printed for you. And you might be in the mood one day to come in and practice your thread painting, your thread sketching with this. But I wanted to tell you, if you're wanting to really feed your soul and do a landscape, I don't really recommend this because it's too much like highlighting a painting that's already there. But this is a great thing to practice your thread painting on, to get ideas and inspiration from. And but I just thought I would tell you, everything is done for you. So it'll take away some of your joy of discovery. This is how I started on EQ8 to design the quilt I'm wanting to. My daughter is building a garage. They're building a 2-car garage pole barn style. And they're having it built, and they're so excited. Her husband is so good at working on cars and trucks, and he has been wanting this for years. So I can't wait to see how it all comes out. This is from, I'm trying to remember her name. I'm having a little senior moment, but I ended up getting her quilting program. Bonnie Langenfeld. I highly recommend, if you enjoy landscape quilting, please look her up. I love her work. It's light and airy. It's not too hard and obvious. And it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And she does, like we do, she does the kind of collage background and then comes in, and her main thing is, if you do green leaves on a tree, have 3 different colors of green thread. If you do green grasses, 3 different colors here, and everything you do, light, medium, and dark, and that makes it come alive. Bonnie Langenfeld, I highly recommend her. All right, let me see if I have something else. Okay, so one thing I've noticed recently is these were on Michaels. Look what they have now. So this whole thing of bringing bits and pieces together and do hand embroidery is even already out there in the stores. So I found this one, and most of these are done on, and then you can get a colored fabric that's already been designed, and then you do fill-in hand embroidery. Who knew? But when I see this stuff, and this was found at Michael's, and it's not like traditional where you fill in everything. In this, you just try different stitches to kind of flesh it out. Look at that. So if you're looking for something new and you don't really want to feel creative to try to design it yourself, look up at Michael's. So here you get this on a piece of fabric, and then you come in and you do with pearl cotton or DMC floss, and you do some fill-in stitches to bring the color. Isn't that cute? Now, I don't get anything from Michael's, but when I get online, I love, pardon me a second, when I get online, I love going and finding things like this. And that way I can show you new things on the market. This is a cute one. It's like a little, it's perfect for a sewing room. Now, you only get the fabric for that price. You have to get your own flosses. So, but isn't that neat? I thought you might like that. Okay. Then, okay, so I've shown you all of that. And now I'm just going to give you a little brief peek at some spring ideas that caught my eye. Okay. So I've been looking around for different ideas to celebrate spring. And I haven't decided what we're going to do, but I just thought I would show you some possibilities. I think this winter has been hard enough. We could use some thoughts of spring. Look at this amazing crocheted egg apron. So when you go out, you can collect your chicken eggs. Isn't that cute? What will people think of next? Ah, I love this. And you could use a fabric stiffener or iron the fabric onto a stiff paper-like background to make that. There are just so many cute ideas. So when I want to think of something new to do, I go online and look in my search engine and try to find a really cute idea. So those are some of the ideas I've found so far. All right. I think that is the rest of the show and tell for this week. Let me get my camera set up. Hold on. Okay. Let me get my light back on. Bring y'all back up. The whole time I'm doing that, I can't see y'all. So I'm always hoping everybody's still there. There we go. Okay, you love the tulips? Okay. Oh, that's neat. Okay, so now we're going to look at ways to do, pardon me, I had to turn that lamp off, ways to do the curved piecing, okay? And so I've got some kind of rough cut looking squares here. And then I cut a basic curve. It's not the best curve. Let me see. I know how I can make a better curve. Fold it in half. Fold it in half. Like this. Because see, I'm just kind of doing this on the fly. And then when you cut once, you have cut the whole thing. And that way you can better visualize a curve. And you know both sides will come out even. So let's see if I've improved this any. Oh yeah, much better. So this would go here. So what I'm doing with this is I'm going to take a piece of fusible interfacing and this fabric. Okay. Right side's facing up. I'm hoping I'm doing this right. We'll find out. Okay, because I know I've got to sew them a certain way. So what we're going to do is we're now going to cut this out. And this is the pattern and the fabric, and cut them out. All right. And then I have the block that these are going to go on, okay? And this is trying to show you a creative way to do this. All right? So now what I'm going to do, come over here and stitch. Okay, so this is one of the methods for easy curve sewing. All right, I have got the dots. This is the fusible. You can feel it. It's bumpy. See the bumps? And against the right side of this fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to stitch two sides of this. Uh-oh. It was stitching awfully quietly because it had no bobbin thread left. Okay. I'm going to just stick in this color because it's the quickest one that I could reach. Normally, I stitch almost exclusively with gray thread. It is the best neutral. But let me come back to this. Okay. I'm just going to stitch around here. All right, then I'm going to turn it around and do a little bit here. I don't know if I even need to do down this side, but I'm going to do it. Okay. All right. Now come back over this way. And let me get my little snips. And what I'm going to do, just to make sure that this is easy to fold, is I'm going to do a little bit of trimming. And every few inches, I'm going to come in and I'm going to come into this and make like a little V. And this is just going to make it easier for the thread, the fabric to lay flat. But I'm just kind of trimming it a little and then cutting. And don't cut the sewing. Just trim it near the sewing. Okay. Let me grab these and throw these away. All right. So now, and just to make this easier, I pre-starched my block down here, so it's a little firmer. Then I'm going to take this, turn it inside out. Now, this is important. I sewed down this side, but it's funny, the interfacing wasn't big enough. But I'm going to take like this and carefully, let me get my bone folder. You can use a bone folder or a wooden iron. And I think I have a wooden iron right here. Hold on. If you don't have a wooden iron, you can use, okay. Some people are not used to, what is it when you say a wooden iron? This is a wooden iron, and it's a piece of wood that's got 45-degree angles. And I'm left-handed, so I would use this side. And so what you do is you come, and these cost probably $3, something like that. and you just take the wooden iron and you kind of rub it against the seam line. But let's say you don't have a wooden iron, then just take a clothespin and fold it neatly. Fold it as neatly as you can. And you know what? Now that I'm doing this, I would only sew the curved side. Okay, so you just come along with the clothespin, a wooden clothespin. The wood works really well. Or you can come in with a bone folder. Any hard surface. You cannot use the iron yet because the way I did the right sides together, then turned it inside out, this is now ready to be ironed on. Hi, Kim. So good to see you. Yeah, gray is my go-to thread. You're right, Kathy. Hi, Kathy Boyd. We showed your wonderful photos. Okay, so now you lay this right here. And I've got it finger pressed the best I can because you can't iron it yet because now you come in and iron it. If you tried to iron the edge, you would iron. Oh, that is good, Kathy. If you tried to iron the edge first, you would melt the glue. So, now this is a lot of fabric. I'm going to turn over to the back to make sure I get that fusible part of the interfacing. Get that fusible part nice and melted, and there you go. Then you would take it over to your sewing machine. And do a top stitch. And I'm going to leave the gray thread as my top stitch because I don't really think it's going to be that big of a problem. And you just go and top stitch it on. Never trust a fusible to hold something on permanently. Okay, so here we go. Now let's see what we've got. There it is. Now, if I had more time, yeah, maybe I would do a pinkish thread, but you can't see the gray unless you're right up close. Hello, Diane57. It's so good to see you. All right, so this is one method of doing without having to sew the curve. Let's do another method. In this one, we're going to take this wonderful piece. Let me see if I've got a big enough piece of batik. Yes. Okay, we're going to take it. I need to cut it the right. I've cut it out a wee bit big, so let me trim it down. Okay, so now I've got two of the same size squares. Let me get this camera up so you can see better. All right, I'm going to give it a good press. I want everything to do what it's supposed to. Okay, then I can move this aside. This I'm going to take and I'm going to press it in half. Now, I think this, oh, that's so pretty. Okay, I want the bright side showing. All right. So I press this in half, nice and firm. Then I come back to this square. I place this matching the outer raw edges. This is the folded edge. Place this here. Place this here. All right. Now bring it back to the machine. I'm going to sew along just the outside lines. Only the outside lines. And you don't, It's not a sewing that's sew within the seam allowance. It's just to keep it in place. All right. Now, come back over to the sewing machine. So, you see where it's sewn on and has, whoops, you can see where it is sewn on and has a little pocket effect. What I'm going to do, I think I did this the wrong way, but oh well. I think I did. I think I'm supposed to. Oh, here's what you're going to do. Okay. I was trying to remember how this was done. What I'm going to do is fold it back in a curved look. So actually what I should have done, I'll do another one and do it the other way. But reminds me of the fake cathedral windows kind of sewing. Okay, so now let me do another thing real quickly. Hold on. All right. Luckily, I've cut plenty of squares. What I'm supposed to do with this, okay, let me get this cut to the right size. Okay. I know what I did wrong now. I want this piece to look like the curved piece. So what I'm going to do is take this background. See this? So it's doing it the opposite way. Oh, I didn't quite get this ironed in half good, so let me try it again. Okay, here we go. Now, of course, I did not cut perfect triangles or perfect squares, so let me just do a little trimming of this. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a quick starch on this because I want it to stand up to what I'm getting ready to do with it. So I'm letting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, letting the starch soak in so it doesn't flake off. Turn it over, give it a good press on that side too. All right, now I have a firm block. So now I'm going to take this, stitch around here, and I'll be right back. Oops, I might as well let you see what I'm stitching because I'll do the other one at the same time. So here we go. All right. Here we go. All right. So this is the one I was just working on. I'm going to stitch it down both sides. All right. While you're not looking, I'm quickly going to come over here and fold this back. What this does is when you fold the square in half, this edge becomes a bias, which is really a cool thing. Oh, hi. Hi, Albert. Oh, thank you, Marsha. You're such a sweetheart. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and you know what? For this, I think let me grab a dark red thread because I want to give this a good chance to look good. So I'm going to quickly change my thread, put this new one on, put this new thread here. Okay. I love how easy it is to thread the newer machines. It is amazing. Okay, let's see if, whoops, no, not that way. I'm trying to get it to go around the front. There we go. All right. So now I've got the new thread put on here. Okay. I hope I did it right. It never fails that if you try to rush, you'll get it all mixed up. So let me try this again. All right, now I've pulled it through. Let me cut off the excess. All right, so tilt it down. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken that square, folded it in half, sewn it around the outside of this. Then when you go to pull it in like this, it will make a curve, okay? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first stitch right, I'm going to top stitch right along this inside edge, and that will hold it in place. And see, it tapers down. So it gets over ½ an inch here and tapers down, and that's what gives you the wonderful curve. Okay, so I'm going to stitch right along here. Then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to stitch now along this inside edge, because you've got to stitch that down too. Now, I was even wondering, can you turn it to the inside to stitch it down so you don't see this little excess thing? And I think you could. And I would still stitch it twice, though, so that it doesn't try to peek out. All right, so I got this. All right, now I'm going to come back and do that original one that I did that makes it kind of backwards. And in fact, why don't I try to stitch this one inside out? Let me go iron. I'll be right back. Let me go iron. All right. It's a little trickier to get it to go inside out, but I want to see if this will work, because I think it would leave a smoother edge that I will like better. So let's see. Instead of feeling like it has a little collar piece, you know, see how I folded it on the inside? All right, so let's try this. So I'll just come right on to this one. All right. And make sure you keep the block, but all the pieces laying flat, because they can want to pull up on you. So now, let me trim this, come back over and show you. Oh, isn't that a great idea? Kim says fill that. If you're going to have this little border, you could fill it with some embroidery. Isn't it fun how we're able to look at our quilts with new eyes now? So let me get this little extra thread off. Okay, so here we go. We have both styles. All right. So here we've got two different curves, and we've got this one. And then there was one more, if you have just a moment, there's one more I'd like to try. And that is putting this pattern on here. And in fact, what I'm going to do to make it easier, will that work? I trimmed that kind of funny. Whoops, it's going to be hard to make it work. So let me go with one of these. All right, let me try this one. What I'm going to do to get this cut right is I'm going to come here, put this right here using the template, and give it a trim. Now, this is going to be raw edged, but what I thought I would do is use some of the Stemacine 2 thin tape. Okay? Now let me make sure I've got the right thing. I think I have it. And I was wondering, can you use the Stemacine 2 tape? All right. And this is Pellon Light Easy Steam 2. And this one's a 1/2 inch, but I've got out the 1/4 inch size. You could use either one. And I'm going to try ironing it on and just do it slowly so that you can kind of ease it around the curve. Slowly and ease it around. All right. And remember, do not over iron fusibles, because if you do, it can melt the fusible so much that it sinks into the fabric and then it no longer is sticky. So now what I'm going to try to do is carefully get this tape off, the protective tape off, holding on to the fusible. You can kind of see that film, and then gently pull the protective tape off, leaving the film on the fabric. And if you get to an area where it's a little bit stuck, then just scrape it a little bit with your fingernail to get it to come off the protective. I've had this a while, and like with any sticky things, over time they can degrade. So if you have this problem, don't stock up on things that have fusible, sticky surfaces. It's just like you can't stock up too much on glue sticks because they're going to change over time. They'll dry out, they'll lose their effectiveness. And I did find out, I've had this probably 15 years, and so adhesives change over time. All right, so I got the paper off. Now, let me move these out of the way. Now I've got my square. I've got the fusible along this edge. I'm going to match these edges like this and then come along and press it. Okay, and there we go. It is on there good. I would also take, let me real quickly do that. I'm going to take it and stitch it down because, like I say, do not trust fusibles. Now, since this is near the edge, I'm going to go ahead and do, I started to do a zigzag stitch, but I don't have the zigzag foot on there. So I'm not going to do a zigzag stitch because I'm not prepared to go look for my foot. Oops. So I've got my 1/4 inch foot. Thank goodness I always check now because I don't like breaking needles. You can throw off the timing of the machine. You can just make a big mess. Okay. Got that done. All right. So now I'm going to give this a good press. And there you go. So I just thought I would show you. It was a wonderful article in the McCall's magazine, and it was showing different ways that you can achieve a curved look without having. Now you can get a curved master foot. Those work really well. But there are, Let me line them up so you can get a comparison. Hold on. All right. So this is the one with the interfacing. I thought that was kind of neat. Now, it does make it a little bit thicker. You could go, well, let's see. No, you can't really. This is going to make it a little thicker with the interfacing. But these are thicker too because you've got all those, both of these where you put a whole square and fold it in half. But I could then do this and do this and do that. So you can kind of see where you get that circular design. And there it is. All right, so these are three easy ways to do the curve. All right. So I'm hoping this week, if I keep feeling better, which I'm counting on, if I keep feeling better, because I'm feeling so much better today. I just don't have my energy level back. But if I keep feeling better, that I want to get back and work some more, I need a new lampshade, but I really would like to finish my windswept quilt that I did in Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. And as you can tell, I'm really committed to finishing projects. So that is my big focus. So anyway, now I'm hoping I gave you some ideas so that you don't have to fear curves anymore. If you want to see me actually sewing a curve, go back 1 or 2 weeks and I actually make the curves because I got good practice. The reason I'm doing these curves, I got really good practice while making this. And this is the one I want to get finished. But I did a lot of curves on this. And no matter which way you do it, curves are nothing to be afraid of. All right, guys, any questions today before we get ready to go? Any questions? By next week, you're going to see that I have done some painting. So I'm very excited about that. And I'll work some more on my windswept. I will have the Dahlia. If you too want to try something like this, I will have this scanned into my computer and ready to share with you. So don't forget, just send me emails at OurTime. Whoops, not that. Okay, here we go. OurTimeToQuilt at pwc.com. There. Any of my patterns that you've seen, feel free to send me an email to that. If you'd like to share photos of things you're enjoying, some of your work, whatever is making you happy, please send your photos to me and I'll include them in our show and tell. And oops, let me get rid of, okay, we're getting these really odd emails or text on here. If you're in one of these and you see an odd sounding text, please ignore it. Do not click on it, and because it's spam. And lately there's been a rash of them. But any other questions? Sarah, it is so good to see you. And anytime you want to share pictures of those babies, I love it. And just let me know if I can share it with everybody else or if it's just for me. But, my chickens are laying eggs like crazy. After they molted this year, they had stopped laying. Well, it got so cold one night, we put a heat lamp out for a few nights. They started laying like mad. So you love my Oh, yes. Thank you. I do love my flamingo lights. They're a lot of fun. Thank you. So, but my chickens are laying like mad. So I think I need to go upstairs, and I've got them in a cute little basket on the counter, but I think it's time to get them put in the refrigerator so none of them start to go bad. You can easily keep fresh eggs on the counter for 3 weeks, but if they've been refrigerated, you have to keep them refrigerated until you use them. Well, thank you all so much. And I will be here on Thursday night and hope to have some good progress for you on our snowy landscape quilt, because it's getting time to work on something for spring. And I'll have a great spring project for you next week. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I missed y'all terribly this week, and let's have some more fun for next week. Take good care of yourself. And I'll give you a hint. If your body's telling you just to stay in bed and sleep, try to listen to it, because it kind of knows more than you do what you need. So take good care. Thank you for reaching out. You're wonderful, and you make my heart happy. Take good care of yourself. Bye, everybody. Your doll babies. You make my days. Take care. Bye-bye.